first concept of Hancock's Don Mill master plan was the neighborhood model. Hancock treated the idea of neighborhoods very seriously. However, the idea of a neighborhood had already been discussed in great lengths in Houses for Canadians by Humphrey Carver. In Carver's eyes, the neighborhood was the basic building block of planning. Carver's dream was to create new cities in the suburbs. Carver's model neighborhood laid out the necessities of a neighborhood, and Hancock took a very similar approach.
This is what Hancock wrote at the time. The neighborhood unit in each case is composed of all the elements which go toward making the elementary school the cultural focus.
Each neighborhood had an elementary school, church, and local store. The community facilities were located in the center, surrounded by a ring road.
The second concept of Hancock's master plan was a discontinuous road system.
Hancock chose a system of discontinuous roads that ended up in T intersections. He chose this so that he could give Don Mills a unique identity and make it different from other cities.
Most of the land on site was flat and could have easily been made into a grid. Instead, an intricate system of curving roads was laid out. The discontinuity of the roads meant that the community was essentially closed to outsiders.
The third concept of Hancock's master plan was the green space.
The whole community was meant to be permeated by green space. The element of green space was integrated into the project in many different ways. For example, the roads were not edged with sidewalks, but rather they were edged with grass, with lawns that eventually spilled up onto the front lawns of people's homes.
Roads almost seemed out of place in this otherwise natural setting. There was also an internal walkway system that was bordered by greenery and park space. Parks were plentiful and occupied almost 20% of the site.
The fourth concept in the Don Mills master plan was new house forms.
Hancock's community was made of many different residential options. It consisted of approximately 8,000 houses, out of which 4,501 were apartments, which were mostly a 3-storied structure.
The remaining residences were mostly dominated by single-family homes. However, there were some row homes as well as some semi-detached homes as well. Hancock also wanted a mix of income, so he had both ownership and rental places within the city as well.
The fifth concept in Don Mills' master plan was the separation of uses and activities.
Hancock's plan included non-residential uses as well. These uses included commercial, institutional, and industrial. All of these uses were separated, including the residential uses as well. Each block has a different specific type of residence appointed to it. They never mixed.
The 320 acres of industrially designated land contained factories that employed approximately 4,500 people. This was in an attempt to create a new town where people lived and worked. Within the ring were the most regional uses, including a shopping center, a high school, a post office, a community and recreation center, and a library.
Within a few years, the fringes of other Canadian cities began to resemble the shape of Don Mills. By the 1970s, the planning of every Canadian city was dominated by the suburban form first designed by Hancock.